Welcome to this week's Ohio Tech Report. We're so glad that you're able to join us. We have a special guest today, David Kilroy from Shawnee State University in Southern Ohio. David, welcome. And if you could, just share a little bit about yourself and what you're up to at Shawnee State.
Absolutely, Chris. Thank you. David Kilroy from Shawnee State University in Portsmouth, Ohio. I am the program director for the Kricker Innovation Hub. It's a new entrepreneurship center for the university, for the community, currently undergoing renovation thanks to the Economic Development Administration. And that renovation is expected to complete in April of next year. So we are very excited for that and continue to host some really cool things there.
That's awesome. Well, thanks again, David, for joining. So today we have three really cool stories. We're going to be talking about how Ohio's venture funding scene has been taken off in some really big numbers for this calendar year. Our second story is about Spotify. So, if you stream your audio, listen to music, or do any podcasting listening, Spotify bought an Ohio company, made an acquisition of a tech company right here at home, which is pretty cool. And then the third and final story is about Cardinal Health, and they're testing drone delivery. So one of the biggest companies, Fortune 500 giant, they're doing some really cool stuff. But before we dive in too much, want to thank Zendesk, which is our presenting sponsor. And they were built upon a simple idea: make customer service software that's easy to use and accessible to everyone. Zendesk's customer service and engagement products are powerful and flexible and scale to meet the needs of any business. They serve businesses across hundreds of industries with more than 145,000 paid customer accounts, offering service and support in more than 30 languages. They're headquartered in San Francisco, but of course operate worldwide. And if you want to learn more, we'll tag them in the show notes. Check out their LinkedIn page, their Twitter handle. Their website is zendesk.com. That's zendesk.com. And the best customer experiences are built with Zendesk. So, David, we're going to launch into the first story. And this is a cool one from Crunchbase News. And the headline is Ohio's venture funding scene has taken off. And so a few stats to kind of show the growth of it is that so far this year, which this is just November, so we got a bit to go, Ohio-based companies have raised over $2.2 billion in venture funding across all stages. That is more than double the previous kind of high level mark. And what's really interesting is that it's not like there's a massive increase in deals. If anything, deals are a little bit down because we still got a bit of time to go. But the numbers are just so much more massive. So I don't know if you have any thoughts on this one.
It's just great to see that, access to capital can be such a limiting factor. And as a state, knowing that the startups here to that level of capital is a really important thing.
Yeah, it really is. And as you said, access to capital, where, historically the statistic is it's something like 95% or whatever of venture funding will go to three places: Boston, San Francisco, and New York City. And, it's giving entrepreneurs, and I think we've seen over the past year, some of the incredible innovation in places that historically you wouldn't think of, but there's really cool work happening. So that's awesome. So our second story we're going to hop into, this is Spotify that I mentioned, our podcast friend, music listening friend. Spotify has bought a Solon-based, which is Northeastern Ohio, where you're from, Solon-based audiobook company called Findaway. And so they announced this just recently. And Findaway was founded in 2005, headquartered in Solon. And what's really cool is it's going to help get them into the audiobook kind of listening, which obviously Amazon is a big kind of audiobook player. And I love my Audibles and listening to books, in the car or whatnot. But this is kind of cool, an Ohio-based tech company getting bought by one of the big streaming giants in Spotify. Are you a Spotify listener, David?
I am a Spotify listener, so I'll have to, keep a lookout for their new, I suppose, products and services there. I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
And technically that's an international acquisition too, isn't it?
Yeah, no, because it's a Swedish company, which is neat. And they said that the purchase is going to help accelerate Spotify's entry into the audiobook industry, according to the company, and help it bring audiobooks to hundreds of millions of listeners, which I don't know about you. I hadn't heard about this company in Solon, Findaway, but, it's like every day it seems like there's a new company that's doing something really incredible.
It's great to see that. That's a win for Ohio for sure. Great for them.
It is. Cool. So we're going to go to story number 3, which is Cardinal Health, one of the largest companies anywhere. a massive, massive company that's headquartered in Dublin, the suburb of Columbus, but they are testing drone delivery to pharmacies. And so this pilot program with drone operator Zipline will aim to speed replenishment of medical supplies and could trim shipping costs. And so this is kind of an example of a massive Fortune 500, and I think they're like a Fortune 10 actually, company that's doing some incredible innovation. But they're seeing it as a way around delays and restocking inventory and volatile last minute shipping prices. And we've seen it kind of. Kroger is another Ohio-based company that's been testing this out with delivery, and now Cardinal Health's doing it in kind of the medical pharmaceutical delivery space.
It's great to see, the Fortune 500 large companies in Ohio really take a crack at solving big problems like that.
Yeah, it's really interesting, and just to be clear, the pilot program is not going to be happening in Ohio, but the Ohio company of Cardinal Health. But this is a cool story, and again, you mentioned there's some really big companies out there that are testing this. Kroger, as I mentioned, they're doing stuff in the Dayton region where I think it's up to one store is delivering up to 5 pounds of groceries. So if you were at your summer barbecue or Thanksgiving's coming up and you forgot the carrots or whatever for your dressing, you can put an order into Kroger. But it's one of those, at least to me, that it seems so far away that you can't even imagine drone delivery and getting like an Amazon package or seeing something being dropped off at the pharmacy by Cardinal Health. But it's being tested and it's happening, and I don't know if we're quite ready for that. It's a little scary, but it's also pretty cool.
Yeah, if Kroger is thinking about expanding that pilot, we'd love to get them down in Portsmouth, Ohio with that. I'd like to
Yeah,
see that.
exactly. Well, that's our top 3 stories for this week. And David, thanks so much for joining. Anything else that you want to kind of mention or
Absolutely.
promote about what you're doing at Shawnee State?
Yeah, absolutely. So the only thing I would mention here is about the Kricker Innovation Hub, as I mentioned, the grand opening in April of next year. And we're really excited for it. The university, Shawnee State University, has a top 10 game development program nationwide, and the Innovation Hub is building on that program in a really intentional way. And we are excited to really not just have this hub for the university, but really use it to connect with the rest of the state. It's an opportunity for our talented students to have somewhere that they can go that really, again, the reason we're here, right? We've got a network to the rest of Ohio for our students and vice versa.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I'm glad you mentioned the gaming and aspect of what's happening at Shawnee State. There's all these like cool tech stories that happen in different pockets that I think people in the region that they reside in Southern Ohio, your case, know all about it. And you'll mention it and people get it right away, or they know what's happening. But there's all these stories. And
Exactly.
I think this is one that, as you tell people, and I like to use an example when people say, well, what's a tech story in Ohio you don't know about? It's like, well, do you know what's happening in Southern Ohio, Shawnee State University, in esports and gaming? Because that's a massive, industry now, and it's only getting bigger. So keep it up. Congratulations on the work, and hopefully we'll be able to get down there soon to take a look at it.
Absolutely. Always happy to do a tour.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for watching this week's Ohio Tech Report. Again, we want to thank our presenting sponsor, Zendesk, for helping make this possible and helping spread the word of what's happening in the Buckeye State. So have a great weekend, everyone. We'll talk to you soon. And thanks so much for watching.